Hello students, now we will read chapter 9 Tourism, Transportation and Communication of Geography class 10th Maharashtra board. Tourism, try this. On the basis of the things you know about Brazil, make a list of places in Brazil you would like to visit. Which factors, characteristics of Brazil make it good tourist place? What types of tourism will be developed here? Discuss with your friends and show the classification. Answer the following questions on the basis of figure 9.1. Figure 9.1. Number of international tourists from 1995 to 2015. Blue line is of Brazil, pink line is of India. Number of international tourists. Indian line is increasing rapidly after 2005 to 15, and Brazilian was increasing from 1995 to 2000, but after that it is almost steady up to 2010 and slightly increasing from 2010 to 15. Which country attracts more international tourists in the year 1995? In which country did more international tourists arrive in the year 2000? In which year can an increase be seen in the number of international tourists in India? What was the number of international tourists in the year 2015 in both the countries? What was the difference between them? What could be the reason of increase in tourists in India after the year 2010? Geographical explanation. Brazil. Clean, white sand beaches, attractive sea coast, beautiful islands, orchards, deep dense forests of Amazon, various birds and animals attract lots of international tourists here. The new capital city of Brasilia is also a tourist attraction. Cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo are large cities which attract lots of tourists. Tourism is an important economic activity in several regions in the country. Looking at the sensitivity of the natural resources in Brazil, ecotourism is developing at a faster rate in Brazil. Can you tell answer the questions after reading figure 9.2? Tourism and economy 2016. Percentage of population engaged in tourism. Contribution of tourism in GDP. Tourism and Economy 2016. What type of graph is shown here? What does the graph show? Which country's tourism has a larger share in the contribution towards the GDP? Which country has a larger population engaged in tourism sector but contributes lesser in GDP? Geographical explanation. As shown in figure 9.1, the number of international tourists visiting India in 2015 is more than that of Brazil. Even though this is true, the share of tourism sector in the GDP is less than that of Brazil. Apart from this, the proportion of Indian population engaged in tourism proportion is higher than Brazil. This is primarily dependent on the size of the population of those countries and the size of the GDP. See figure 9.2. According to this, population of India is more than Brazil and so is its GDP. as the GDP of India is higher than Brazil and so also its population. Therefore, the contribution of tourism to GDP appears lesser than Brazil and population engagement seems higher. Think about it. What are the factors responsible for development of these tourism sites in Brazil? Figure 9.5 Brazil Marine Tourism. Figure 9.6 Ajanta Caves. Some tourism sites of India and Brazil. Figure 9.3 Gateway of India. 9.7 Football Stadium at Manaus. Figure 9.4 Beach at Rio de Janeiro. 9.8 Guwahati, Assam. India. It is seen in figure 9.1 that the number of international tourists in India is constantly growing, but this increase appears to be more after 2010. This increase in the number of international tourists is consistent. Foreign tourists visit India for heritage, adventure, culture, health and business tourism. Ecotourism is also being given boost in India. Considering the heritage of India, there are plenty of opportunities for tourism in many parts of the country. Many places are being developed for this. Make friends with maps. This is the map of Brazil. It shows major transport routes. Thick pink line shows major roads. Thin line shows other roads. This type of line shows railways. This is capital, tourist places, airport, port. Rio Grande, Porto Alegre, Curitiba, Santos de Janeiro, Vitoria, Salvador, Belo Horizonte, Campo Grande, Sao Paulo, Cuiabá, Brasilia, Juazeiro, Salvador, Recife, Cretios, Fortaleza, São Luís, Teresina, Belém, Manaus, Trans-Amazonian Highway, Cruzeiro do Sul, Porto Velho, Manaus, Boa Vista. Brazil transport. Study the transport map of Brazil in figure 9.3 and answer the following questions. Which means of transport are seen on the map? Which means of transport has a denser network? Which highway can be seen prominently? Which places does it join? What could be the reason of development of railways in the southeast? In which part of Brazil do you see a lesser development of transport network? What could be the reason? Geographical explanation. The most common method of transportation is roadways. Roadways account for more than half of transportation system in the country. What the density of road network is concentrated in the eastern part of the country. The forested lands of Amazon River basin and the swampy lands have limited the development of roadways in this part. Waterways have been developed on a commercial basis in the Amazon River. Boats ply from Iquitos in Peru to the mouth of the river. The longest waterways in the world can be navigated through these waterways, around 3,700 kilometers. Another river important for waterways is the south flowing Parana River. Coastal shipping is also carried out in the coastal areas. Railways have not developed very well in Brazil. The use of trains for long distance transportation of passengers is restricted to a few urban tourist routes. Though it is cheaper, the contribution of airways is less in the transportation system of the country. Think about it. Considering the development of transport in a place, which factors do you think are responsible for the development of transport in Brazil? Also, think which means of transport could be used in Brazil given its topography and drainage. India transport. Look at the transport maps of India given in figure 9.10 and 9.11 and answer the following questions. Which means of transport are visible on the map? India national highways and major ports. Thick pink line north south highway. This is through the center of India from north to south up to Kanyakumari, here up to Cochin. This is started from Srinagar, capital of Jammu and Kashmir. East West Highway, dotted line, this one. Started from Porbandar to, this is going up to Silchar, passing through Lucknow, Kanpur, Faridabad, Kota, Udaipur, Chittorgarh, Muzaffarpur, Guwahati, Dispur, then golden quadrilateral, pink color, this one. Jaipur, Udaipur, Delhi, Gurugram, Agra, Kanpur, Allahabad, Varanasi, Bari, Dhanbad, Cuttack, Gopalpur, Vijayawada, Chennai, Bangalore, Belgaum, Hubli, Kolhapur, Satara, Pune, Mumbai, Surat, Bharuch, Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Gandhinagar, Udaipur, Jaipur, and Delhi. This is golden quadrilateral. National highway, black lines. All these black lines are the network of national highways. Then this is major ports. Visakhapatnam, Chennai, Cochin, Mumbai, Porbandar, Kandla. Look at the transport maps of India given in figure 9.10 and 11 and answer the following questions. Which means of transport are visible on the map? In which part of India is the density of railways more? Name 5 important ports and airports of India. Which parts of India have a sparse network of transport? What could be the reason? Important railway routes and airports. Let's see. These are the railways. These are the important stations. These are airports. Chennai Airport, Bangalore, Trivan- Trivandrum, Pune, Visakhapatnam, Havda, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Agra, Delhi, Leh, Srinagar, and important stations. So many railway stations are given throughout the India, and these are the railway networks. Now, waterways are a cheap means of transport. Waterways contribute about 1% of the country's transportation. It comprises rivers, canals, backwaters, creeks, etc. Approximately 95% of India's foreign trade moves through ocean routes. Apart from international trade, these are also used for the purpose of transportation between the islands and the rest of the country. As compared to Brazil, railways in India are more developed and the use of internal airways is also increasing. Graphical explanation. As compared to Brazil, India has a denser network of transport. About 85% of passenger and 70% of freight traffic are carried by roads every year. Freight and passenger transport has been facilitated due to the development of the railways. Railways are important for the growth of the Indian economy. Railway network is relatively less dense in the hill states, northeastern states, central part of India and Rajasthan, while it is dense in the North Indian plains. Railways are very important for a vast country where distances are large. Always remember, the development of means of transport is an indicator of rapid progress of a country. Get it a try. Give it a try. Arun called his mother from Digboi at 7 a.m. At what local time will his mother pick up his call at Jaisalmer? Communication in Brazil. Try this. You are already aware of the vast longitudinal extent of Brazil. Given are the westernmost and easternmost extreme points of Brazil mainland in figure 9.12. Calculate the difference in time between the 2 points in minutes. Standard time, Brazil. Time zone, black one is the time zone and pink one is Brazil time zone. This minus 4 hours, minus 3 hours, minus 2 hours, minus 5 hours. So difference between minus 5 and minus 2 is 3 hours. And from this point to this point it may be more than 3 hours. So they should use central time, this one between 3 minus 3 and minus 4 means minus 3.5 hours. So they may be using this one, Brazilian time zone. Given are the westernmost and easternmost extreme points of Brazil mainland. This is westernmost. Nascente Dorio Mau and Ponto de Seixas. Calculate the difference in time between the 2 points in minutes. Westernmost point Nascente do Rio Mao, 7 degree 32 minute 33 second south, 70 degree 59 minute west. Easternmost point Ponta do Seixas, Paraiba, 7 degree 9 minute 28 second south, 34 degree 47 minute west. Read the above map in the figure 9.12 and answer the following questions. How many divisions can you see in the map? What do these divisions signify? What does the term behind the GMT mean? Which part of Brazil is ahead of the other? By how many minutes is this part ahead of others? What does the red line in the map show? Geographical explanation. You will find that because of the vast longitudinal extent of the country, the difference between two extreme points is around 168 minutes, 2 hours 48 minutes. There are different time zones in the country. Brazil has 4 time zones. It is behind the GMT by 2, 3, 4, or 5 hours. The red line in the map shows the GMT -03 time zone, which is considered to be the official Brazilian time. BRT, Brazilian official Brazilian time, simply BRT, Brazilian time. It is 3 hours behind GMT. Development of communication in Brazil. Telecommunication services in Brazil are well developed and efficient. This industry includes landlines as well as mobile services, television broadcasting, radio broadcasting, and computer internet access. Today, more than 45% of the Brazilian population has access to the internet. The telecommunication infrastructure is fairly modern, particularly in central south Brazil. However, the north and northwest are drastically less developed. Over recent years, mobile phones have led the rapid expansion of telecommunication services in Brazil. The nature of Brazilian territory, especially land mass size and large packets of unpopulated and densely vegetated areas, create significant impediments to the expansion in coverage of telecommunication services. Brazil is developing technology to send domestically made satellites into space with two rockets, with its own rockets, sorry. Communication in India. Study the map given in figure 9.13 and answer the following questions. Calculate the difference between the two longitudinal extremes of mainland India. It is more than Brazil. Which longitude in India is called the Indian Standard Time? What is the difference between this time and the GMT? How many local times are there in India? Make friends with maps. Location and extent. China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar. Location and extent. Here, see, this is 68 degrees 7 minute east, and this line is 97 degree 25 minutes east. See, these two lines, extent of mainland and southernmost extent. Southernmost extent is 6 degree 45 minute north, and extent of mainland is 8 degree 4 minute north, and in the north it is 37 degrees 6 minute north. Okay, India is one of the largest users of smartphones and internet. With development of our own satellites, India has become a long way in this field. Think about it. It is 12 noon at Delhi. What would be the local time in Brasilia? Use your brain power. Saurabh and Ashwini work for a MNC. Two of their regional head offices are located in Brazil in Rio de Janeiro and Manaus, respectively. Both of them have to contact either of the head offices constantly, as they have to adjust timings according to their head offices, find out their corresponding timings in India if they work according to office timings in Brazil, that is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Geographical explanation. India too has a large longitudinal extent. The difference between the two extreme most points is 2 hours or 120 minutes. India has only one standard time zone. The 82.5 degree east longitude is the standard time IST. It passes through Allahabad. It is ahead by 5 hours 30 minutes from the Greenwich Meridian Time GMT. With the explosion of electronic media, telecom industry has become one of the fast growing sectors. In this era of information and communication, more digitally enhanced communication devices like mobile phones, internet and satellites are paving way to expansion for the wider reach of communications technology. Do you know ISRO, India Space Research Organization, looks after the space launching programs of India. Till date, this institute has established many records in the satellite launch. The Brazilian Space Agency AEB is the civilian authority in Brazil responsible for the country's burgeoning space program. The Brazilian Space Agency has pursued a policy of joint technological development with more advanced space programs. Initially, it relied heavily on the United States, but now it is working with China, India, Russia, and Ukraine. Give it a try. On what basis will you decide how many standard times should be there in a country? So, this is the lesson. If you like the video, please click on like button, subscribe the channel and press bell icon. And don't forget to share with your friends. Thank you. Happy learning.